Hope you all are fine. As you know that I am Halimunisa, the junior lecturer of Ahmedabad Institute, High School and Junior College. So, today in our class, we will deal with the subject economics of first year, of first chapter. In this class, we will discuss about another definition of economy, that is scarcity definition. In definition of scarcity, according to Marshall's welfare definitions, played a more important role until the publication of Robbins' book, named as An Essay on the Nature and the Significance of Economic Science in year 1932. Robbins' definitions brought out the logical inconsistencies and inequivalencies of the earlier definitions and formulate his own definition of economy. He has given a more scientific definitions of economics. In these words of Robbins, that is, economics is a science which studies the human behavior as the relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. In scarcity definition, the main features are human wants are unlimited, means are scarce, and alternative uses of scarce means. We will see in this in detail. Human wants are unlimited. We know very well this one. We remains busy throughout our life in order to satisfy these wants, and fulfillment of one want that gives rise to a number of new wants. Thus, wants are unlimited. Therefore, more wants only have to be fulfilled. Therefore, the more important wants only have to be fulfilled. Here, the means of scarce, the means by which wants may be satisfied, are scarce or limited. It leads to economics problem, as well as wants cannot be satisfied by these limited means. Of course, after this, alternative uses of scarce means. Here, the resources are not only scarce but also have multiple uses. For example, electricity can be used in homes and also in industries. A piece of land can be used to produce paddy or wheat. If a scarce of factory is used for the satisfaction of one want, less of it will be available for other wants. Hence, the man has to make a decision regarding the alternative use of resources. Exactly, it has to decide. Then, the ends of verifying importance, man has to choose between wants in order of their preferences. So, here the problems of choices arises. After all these features, criticism and the scarcity definition, we will go with the superiority of Robbins' definition. In this definition, we will see how he is defining the economy and how he is clarifying the other definitions to similar to his definitions. According to Robbins' definition is superior to the earlier definitions is more than one way. The reasons are: it is non-classificatory, as it includes all human activities, whether they promote human welfare or not. It focuses on scarcity. Therefore, Robbins' definition is analytical. After that, this is a universally accepted definition. It is applicable to all type of societies because the scarcity of resources is felt by individuals and as well as the societies. Exactly. Then the definitions of Robbins' economy is neutral between ends. The ends may be noble or ignoble, material or non-material, economic or non-economic. Economic is not only concerned with them, but economic has nothing to do with the ethics. This point we already discussed in criticism. So, being a positive science, it does not pass any value judgment regarding ends. Exactly. These points, and after these definitions we will see the criticism. As we know that if any definition defines any subject matter, then the other objection will be there. So the criticism will be there by the definitions of different thinkers. Like this, here some of the followers of Marshall like Durbin, Fraser, Bewisch and the Barbara Wootton have criticized Robbins' definitions by saying that it lacks human touch and that is personal, neutral and devoted by any normative or ethical elements. He does not seek to make economics as a study of human welfare. Some of them criticized and others are assumed him of behaviorism. Okay. Even though the Robbins criticized Marshall's welfare definitions, that he has introduced the welfare concept indirectly in his definitions. The idea of maximum satisfaction is implicit in the scarcity definition. Therefore, the criticism of welfare definition is equally applicable to it. Okay. Then the another criticism of Robbins' definition is that it is difficult to separate ends from means. Immediate ends may be the means of further ends and means may be the ends of earlier actions. Okay. Then the scarcity definition has been criticized by the economists as to say that economics is neutral between ends, but economics cannot be neutral between ends. Economics is not concerned with the matter but with the human behavior. Okay. Here the Robbins made the economic is a positive science. As per the McFly, economic is a fundamentally and normative science, not merely a positive science like chemistry. Okay. Many economics regards is not only a positive science but also as a normative science. Okay. But Robbins' definition is not applicable to a dynamic society where the changes take place and we can overcome the problems of scarcity of resources with the passage of time. Of course, we will. Here, John took a serious objection of scarcity of resources. How best you utilize them is more important than the idle resources. It failed to analyze the cause of general unemployment of resources. Unemployment is caused not only by the scarcity of resources but by the abundance. Okay. Robbins' scarcity definitions neglects the more important problems of growth and stability. Here, all these criticism, most modern economist has defined economics in Robbins' sense with the slight modifications. After all this criticism, after all these definitions, the most newly modern economist has modified these definitions in his own words. We will see what is that and what are they. In the growth definition, the growth definitions is clarified and modified with the early definitions through Paul A. Samuelson, the great economist. Here, the growth definition of economics is given by Paul S. Samuelson, an American economist and economic Nobel Prize winner in 1970. Samuelson's definition includes the time element and is a dynamic in nature. Hence, it is called a growth-oriented definition of economics. In the words of Samuelson, economics is the study how people and society choose, with or without the uses of money, to employ scarce and productive resources which could have alternative uses, to produce various commodities over the time and distribute them for consumption now in the future among the various people and groups in the society. It analyzed the benefits of improving patterns of resources allocation. Here, Very thin definition and modifications are added to the earlier definitions of other economists. Here the modern economics define in an analytical manner, and he defines the economy step by step and how to consume, how to produce, how to exchange, and how to be produced in now and in future also, and how the productive resources are used by the individual and through as well as by the society also. Here all these points are defined by the economics Nobel Prize winner, that is Paul A. Samuelson. Okay, here we will discuss some of the important points from the Samuelson's definitions, that are his definitions. Like Robbins agreed that the resources are not only limited but also have several uses. Next is that Samuelson's definitions is a dynamic in nature, as it considered both the present and the future consumption, production and distribution. Okay. Growth definitions deal with the problem of choice in a dynamic society. Hence, these definitions broadened the scope of economics. Obviously, automatically it will broaden itself only. Okay. Then the Samuelson's definition is superior to that the Robbins. Why? Because he shifted and the emphasis from the scarcity of resources to income, output and employment, and later to the problems of economic growth. Exactly. So that the Samuelson's definitions are the most acceptable at the moment because of his modification points towards the individual, towards the society welfare, and towards the production, consumption, distribution for the future and for the present. Okay, by this the clarification of Samuelson's definition, we have completed our growth definition. Now we will see the fundamental problems of an economy. They are the certain fundamental problems in any type of economy with which economics are concerned. Then there are the basic economic problems. These are interrelated and interdependent. Okay, we will see what type of good are to be produced and in what quantities, and how to produce these goods, for whom to produce these goods and services, how efficient the productive resources are in use, whether available resources are fully utilized, is the economy growing or static over a period of time. Okay, all these problems. Now first we will go with the choice of goods and quantum of goods. Okay, here in this point the goods are of many types. Exactly and obviously, these may be necessary goods, comfortable goods and luxury goods, or consumption goods and capital goods, etc. Available resources are not enough to produce all these goods at a point of time. Exactly. Choice of goods and quantum of goods. This is that goods are of many types. These may be necessary goods, comfortable goods and luxury goods, or consumption goods and capital goods, etc. Available resources are not enough to produce all these goods at a point of time. Exactly. That is why what type of good have to produce is a problem. Once the type of goods to be produced is decided, then their quantities are to be decided. Similarly, if we produce more than the demand, this led to decrease in the price. Exactly, if the goods are in full quantity and full of demand, means it led to the decrease of price. Okay, similarly, then if less quantity produced than the demand, it result in price increase. Obviously, if there are no goods, means no products, means the goods price will be automatically increase. Okay, To decide the amount of production, both demand and supply aspects have to be taken into account. The problem of the type of goods are their quantities has to be decided on the basis of preference of the society. Exactly and obviously, it should be on the preference of society. Why? Because only what are the goods are produced and that are consumed by human society only. Okay. Then after the choices of goods and quantum of goods, we will discuss about the choice of techniques. What are they? We will see. The next fundamental problem of economy is choice of techniques. There are different methods to produce goods, that is labor intensive techniques and capital intensive techniques. In a labor surplus, economic capital intensive techniques cannot be applied because this creates the unemployment problem for laborers and the capital is not sufficient. Hence, on the basis of availability of resources, production method has to be selected and used. If labor is in abundance, it may use labor intensive techniques, and if capital is in abundance, means capital intensive techniques may be used. Here abundance means very large quantity of something. Okay. Here intensive means the concentration of a single subject or into a short time period. Okay. After this, the next fundamental problem of an economy is the distribution of goods. In any country, welfare of the people is more important. Exactly. For the development and for the welfare of individual and for the welfare of society, in any country, welfare of the people is more important, whether they are rich or poor. While the producing goods which are useful for poor have to be produced, but not for the rich community. So, distributional aspects have to be taken care of this. This is the fundamental problem of an economy which is related to the distribution of goods. Okay. Here the aspects meaning the particular part or the feature of something. Okay. Then the next fundamental problem of an economy is optimum utilization of resources. Here the optimum means best. Okay. In optimum utilization of resources, scarcity of resources is the main problem. Hence, the efficient use of the resources is must. Every underutilization of scarce resources is also a problem. There is a need to overcome this underutilization of resources, and optimum utilization of scarce resources is the need. In an economy where the available resources are fully utilized, this indicates the technical efficiency or full of employment. Okay. The next fundamental problem of an economy is continuous change in economy. In continuous change in the economy over a period of time without any static and the stationary situation is essential. Dynamism is the economy is required for the development. Here the static means the lacking of action or change in undesirable or uninteresting thing. Okay. So that the solution of these problems lies in the price mechanism. In next class, we will discuss about nature and the scope of economy. Okay.